started to make sense of a lot of what I've been doing over the last few years. I've done quite a lot of sort of deep transformational practices, a lot of shadow work, so integrating the shadow, and actually feeling that real sense of becoming more in alignment with myself. But it was through listening to you that I made this connection with the Logos, with the idea that this is actually a deep principle of Western culture, which gave it another...
It's the principle of the incarnation, right? Because the incarnation is at least a symbolic representation of the idea that the spirit has to fully inhabit the body, right? And that's also a remarkable idea, especially because the spirit, so to speak, the psyche, if you want, flees from the body in terror, because the body is the place of mortality and suffering. And so people are disembodied, and it's because, one way of looking at it is because they're too afraid to become fully embodied. And it's no wonder they're afraid. There's reason to be afraid, but the question is, well, what would you be like if you had the courage to be fully embodied? And that's fully incarnate. That's another way of thinking about that. And the idea, the Christian idea, is that the fully incarnate human being is the Messiah. That's the idea. That's a hell of an idea, but it means embracing the horrors of the world. That's what it means. And that's not only the horrors of the world, but the evil of the world, So there's this idea that Christ took the individual. Absolutely. Well, then those are not different. And there's this idea that not only was Christ the incarnate spirit, right, so fully descended into the body, let's say, but that he also took the sins of the world onto himself. And what that means is that, psychologically speaking, is that part of spiritual development is to recognize the satanic tendencies that characterize you, and to fully wrestle with them, and to integrate them. That's the thing. It's not so much to cast them away, it's to transmute them. And you can see the difference between people who've done that and people who haven't, at least to some degree, because people who haven't integrated the shadow at all are naive. And you can tell that when you look at them, and you can tell that when you talk to them. And because they're naive, they're often resentful as well, because they get taken advantage of. And someone who's integrated that more, they're dangerous in the martial arts sort of way, which is they're dangerous, but they don't have to use it.